For joining us this day on your Pan-African Television Afrique Media. As usual this time, we bring to you views on the continent. We apologize for the late start, but definitely we are going to be here together right up to 4 p.m. and we shall be discussing on issues and events, what is making news around the continent. That's why we're here always, and giving the opportunity as well to be part of the change, of course, that Africa needs. And we're here today to discuss about Cameroon and as well Burundi. Cameroon, today we're talking about the unusual outing of Cameroon's President Paul Biya, 87-year-old, made an unofficial outing yesterday, addressing the nation regarding the coronavirus pandemic. This, of course, is his first outing since 2 months when the country recorded its first case of the COVID-19. Cameroon at the moment, it's topping the chart in the sub-Saharan region with over 3,500 coronavirus cases, and so far 140 persons have died and other 1,000 equally have recovered from the deadly pandemic. We're finding out from you this day on the program what are some of the aspects which you think touched you, or what are some of the aspects which Mr. President Paul Biya left out during his address. During his address, called for Cameroonians to respect the measures put in place by the government to contain the coronavirus pandemic, among other issues. But definitely, we shall be expecting to hear from you what you take as Cameroonians. Those of you who followed the speech of President Paul Biya, which equally came in a time when many had speculated in April that he was dead. And he said Cameroonians should not believe rumors which are circulated on the social network. We're definitely going to be hearing from you in the course of the program. Let's hear you, and we, of course, will be happy to get your opinions in the course of the program. And equally on the program today, we're talking about Burundi, where voters are heading to the polls to vote a new president. Pierre Nkurunziza will not be seeking another term. In 2015, when he went in for the polls, there were riots and, of course, violence break out up to now. Pierre Nkurunziza in 2018 decided he will not be going in for another term of office, although the constitution change permits him to go in for another term, but he decided he will be stepping down. We shall be equally looking on that equally in the course of the program. But definitely, before we come back to welcome our guests who we shall be expecting to join us in the program today, we shall be getting to listen to this report done for us by Rita Moto. She did an inside or listen to the head of state speech and now present for us this report. We'll come back after the report. We shall be talking more, as well welcoming our panelists and hoping to hear from you. Stay with us.
Cameroonais,
fellow Cameroonians, my dear compatriots.
Cameroon's lion has roared for the first time after almost 3 months since the country fell victim of the novel killer disease, the coronavirus. In a public message addressed to the nation on May 19th across all national state platforms, President Paul Biya stood out in what can be described as a silencer to ill gossips. Ever since Cameroon identified its first case of the COVID-19 on February 24, numbers have soared to over 3,000 cases, close to 200 deaths, and over 1,000 recoveries. But then, the silence of the head of state kept the world wondering. Members of government have nonetheless been working under the impulse of the president. A lockdown was imposed on March 17th by the Prime Minister John Goody, which banned public gatherings and halted many activities like schools and businesses. The preventive measures were later renewed as cases soared, causing the annulment of festive activities on the 1st and 20th of May, marking respectively the International Labour Day and the Day of National Unity in the country. As a result, casting doubts in the minds of Cameroonians who hoped to see their publicly absent president. The 87-year-old leader ended all speculations in an unusual though highly awaited May 19 address in honor of the 48th edition of the National Unity Day, being observed this year without the usual fanfare because of the need to respect some anti-coronavirus measures prescribed by the government and the World Health Organization, including social distancing. In his message, described by opinion leaders as a resume of all happenings since the advent of the COVID-19 in the country, the president merely thanked all individuals, foundations and countries which have acted in solidarity to help in the fight, and equally urged everyone to participate in his or her little way, while emphasizing that the wearing of face masks shall remain obligatory till further notice. Cameroon, which stands as one of the highly infected African countries, has been battling with civil unrest in the two English-speaking regions of the country, whereby houses have been destroyed, thousands dead, and many more thousands have been displaced since 2017. And in early May, the Pope and UN urged the President Biya to call for a ceasefire. All these are some of the issues that the nationals expected from President Biya's unusual May address, which seemingly turned out to be described as worthless.
All right, thank you very much, Rita Moto, for that report and insight on President Biya's speech, unusual outing on the eve of Cameroon's National Day celebration. But unfortunately, today was supposed to be celebrated as the 20th May, usual celebration colorful with march past in different boulevards. But unfortunately today, as measures put in place by the government to limit the spread of the coronavirus, celebrations were annulled and it's not going to be taking place. Of course, President Biya was addressing the nation yesterday for the first time since the coronavirus outbreak, which has caused celebrations as such not to take place in the country. We shall be hearing from you to tell us what you think about President Biya's unusual outing yesterday, and what analysis do you draw from that particular outing and from everything he said. We shall be hoping to hear from you. And joining us this afternoon, we shall be hoping to talk with the Communications Secretary of the Popular Action Party, Mr. Fabrice Lena, and who will be joining us from Yaoundé. But just before then, our lines are open right away. You can call us and talk to us what you think and what your analysis are. But just right away, let's have your opinions on call. We have indications that there's a call online this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Debate, after 2 months of public controversy about the whereabouts of Biya came out yesterday strong and powerful, proving to the world and to the nation that he is still president of Cameroon, he is alive, and that he is in control of the situation. So his speech yesterday tells us that he knows he's in control of the situation in the country. He is the one giving the instructions to the Prime Minister to take Cameroonian the measures that have been taken, that he knows everything. So all in what he said yesterday, to tell you that he even said that people should not be distracted with what is happening in social media, to say that he is alive, he is strong. All the audience that he was receiving by the French ambassador and the rest, and the UN special representative to Africa were real. The president is strong and powerful, is in control of the nation. Of course, he ought to come matrix the situation. He is aware of what is happening, and he is in control. And it's even called on Cameroon that we should not be afraid, that we should be firm in the fight against what he called the dangerous devil disease that is taking the life of Cameroonians. This has happened after Cameroon recorded the first case, as I said, Louis, and it is true. Now, talk about the situation in Burundi. Burundians are going to report today without the presence of Pierre Nkurunziza. You know, he had been president for that country for long, and he's had a lot of opposition. You remember that the President of the National Assembly left the country because they wanted to kill him, wanted to arrest him and kill him, and many people died because of him. He ruled and reigned at his time, and today, a different president will be elected, and there's no international observer in the election. So what we are saying is that, since there's no international observers, the Burundian National Electoral Commission should do her best and proclaim the result of the election, just who win the election. And the opposition leaders, they should also understand that if you fail, accept to the leader, to the person that is, to the two of them who are campaigning to head the country. If you win, accept your victory. If you fail, accept that you lost the election, so that peace can move in that country. That's all what we had. Now, the silencing of opposition or the shutting down of media is showing a negative aspect of what can take place, because the media is there to see, to talk. And if you shut down the media, it is telling you that that things might not be the way people are expecting. But however, we are calling on Burundians to exercise, to vote who they think can lead their country for the next 4 or 5 years, so that.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shujera. Thanks very much for your opinion. We very much appreciate that. We're looking at two aspects this day on the program: Cameroon, whose president, Paul Biya, made an unusual outing yesterday, 19th of May, addressing the nation, being the first such of outings televised since Cameroon recorded its first coronavirus case. That's of course 2 months ago. We're looking at that keenly this afternoon. We expect to hear from you, Cameroonians, who did follow that message from the head of state, a 20 minutes message. Let's hear from you what you think regarding that particular outing. Several heads of state around the continent have been making several outings since the coronavirus outbreak, but this, of course, in Cameroon was the first time Mr. Biya was talking to Cameroonians regarding the deadly pandemic, the coronavirus. Of course, it's unusual. He's been known as one of those presidents who governs or uses the hands-off system to govern the country. And so far, we call it unusual because it's the first time he's making such an outing without it not being one of such usual occasions where he usually delivers speeches. And we expect to hear from you on that. And let's equally know what you think regarding the presidential elections or general elections taking place this day in Burundi, as voters are heading to the ballot box to decide who takes over President Pierre Nkurunziza, who's been ruling the country since 2005. In 2018, he decided he will not be going in for another term of office, and so definitely someone else is going to be taking up the command baton after today's election. But he's not going out empty-handed. It said after election he's going to be given a state title. We're looking forward to see that. But then the numbers are open for you to call us and share with us. We're waiting for our panelists, Fabrice Lena, who will be joining us from Yaoundé, like we told you at the beginning of the program. But then we have another call online. Welcome to join us in the program. Good afternoon.
We can keep on. We can keep on, carrying out a lot of things around, thinking that we are preventing ourselves. We are trying to keep ourselves away from the coronavirus. But it is clear, just like one of...
maybe we'll come back to that call very shortly, but definitely we told the numbers open for you to call and share with us what you think. We're talking about Cameroon today, and the outing of President Paul Biya, who spoke to Cameroonians yesterday, and the numbers are on your screen. You can equally join us live on Facebook and leave your comments. We should have them read here when we have the time. And as well, Cameroonians, we're supposed to be celebrating the National Day today, and definitely without official outings or without official celebrations due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, let's have your say. Let's have what you have to say regarding this particular outing of President Paul Biya. Did he leave out something? Many think that he said so many things, but at the end of the day, little was new or strange from everything that he said. So we're expecting to hear from you regarding the issues surrounding President Biya's outing. But then let's have your opinions. We have a call online. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the program. Definitely going to be getting back to your call. We have difficulty getting to you. Meanwhile, we are hoping to get in touch with Yaoundé, where Fabrice Lena is, of course, on standby, but then we're equally trying our best at the level of the call center to establish contacts with you. Those of you trying to reach us this afternoon to share with us your thoughts, your opinions, and as well your analysis regarding President Paul Biya's outing. The numbers on your screen. Hello, welcome to the program. Let's hear you.
Hello, Louise. Hello to the viewers of Afrique Media. And I am Innocent You, straight away from the ghostly city of Kumba today. Let me just drop a word or two concerning the head of state's outing, the unusual outing of Paul Biya. for Cameroon. In fact, this is the second time this is happening. In 1984, precisely on the 20th of May, there were no celebrations of the National Day because of the coup d'etat. This time around, because of the novel coronavirus, which is also considered as a force to reckon with on the sub-Saharan Africa. Not only just in sub-Saharan Africa, I beg your pardon, but across the world. President Paul Biya's outing yesterday for 16 minutes was a complete discourse on the coronavirus. But I see him coming out in two dimensions. The first part of his coming out was to silence detractors who had wished him to travel to the world beyond. And the second for him coming out was to show his savoir-faire, or call it his savvy, on the novel coronavirus. And now I want to say that Paul Biya, with all, in fact, actually proved that Cameroon sometimes seem to be drawing their feet in supporting Cameroonians fight this COVID-19, even though he spoke about relentless support and all whatnot. Behold, there is just one thing that keeps puzzling me. You know, the aspect of social distancing. He asked people to wear masks, but keep bars open, keep markets open. People have to wear masks. You know, there are some of these things that when you do, you also look at how they are going to work. There are other nations in Africa that have shut down their bars, and they are even confirming that because they have shut down their bars, there is some kind of discipline. But how can people discipline themselves in the face of a disease that, you know, get hold of people when they are socially inclined? That is a serious question. But I think his outing was positive for Cameroonians, and I think this is the time when things can work. Hello, Louise. Hello.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Innocent Yu, calling us from the town of Kumba in the southwest region. You're the editor-in-chief of the Lakeside Radio back then, Kmer. Thanks very much for your opinion. And we equally hoping to hear from you, those of you watching us live this afternoon. Share with us what you think regarding Mr. Biya's outing, unusual outing yesterday, 19th of May. What did you get from the message? And what comments do you have to make regarding that unusual outing where he addressed Cameroonians, calling on them to respect the measures put in place by the government to ensure or limit the spread of the coronavirus, as well as equally calling on Cameroonians to shun away from fake news, or equally calling on them to resist panic equally regarding the coronavirus. That's, of course, his first outing since the coronavirus pandemic. We expect to read from you, hear from you, your comments as well as your calls on the numbers on your screen. Let's have you this afternoon. Hello, we have a call on the line. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon to all viewers of the Pan-African television, and thank you, Mr. Louis, for giving me the floor. Concerning the unusual outing of the head of state, President Paul Biya, I think that it has always been his operational mode since he took power in 1982, and we know that the presidential operational mode does not follow a normal law or distribution, meaning that all the head of state in the world are free to give official outings or not, and those outings are independent of the operational mode of other presidents. That is not because President of Ghana or President of, I don't know, Central African Republic has given an official outing that automatically the President of Cameroon or another president has to follow. No, the bottom line of what I want to say here is that there is no constitutional disposition obliging the head of state to do any official or audiovisual outing. That said, Mr. Louis, those who were creating polemics on social media and other opposition leaders that were giving ultimatum to the head of state for his outing, we are doing that for their personal interest, because they thought that the head of state has died and they were ready to go and replace him over there in Etodi. Conclusively, Mr. Louis, concerning the unusual outing of the head of state, still concerning the unusual outing, I personally wasn't, or I'm not surprised, because, you know, the head of state has always, since he came to power, has always favored action instead of instead of plenty of talking. And all Cameroonians who has been following the head of state for long, or for so long, should know that, and it is official, the head of state has been governing like that for close to 38 years. And I don't think today it should be a problem. People has always been operating like that with the head of state for close to 38 years. Thank you, Mr. Louis, for giving me.
Mr. Njikam Yakubu, member of the Cameroon Democratic Movement, the CPDM party. That's your opinion. We very much appreciate that as well. We expect to hear from you. Mr. Lawrence from Bamenda, welcome to join us on the program. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Luis. Good afternoon to all the journalists in Africa. Yes, what I want to say is that since the beginning of COVID-19, we see president in the world, we see the president of the United States, we see a president here in Africa going out telling their people what to do. But here in Cameroon, this man, he has been silent for a long time. So it's not because of Unity Day we are not heard about phobia. So this is how this man ruled Cameroon close to 40 years. So that's why people are saying that this man is not serious. This man is not technical. This man is not the right man that can rule Cameroon or Cameroonian people. If we are serious about COVID-19 in La Republique de Cameroon, they are out there threatening Maurice Kamto not to give the protection of COVID-19 to Cameroonian citizens. But he is there talking about, let's put our political grievances aside. This is not time for politics. But at the same time, they are there threatening Maurice Kamto not to help Cameroonian people, even the people that are in the prison. But I am not surprised because the people that are in prison, they are foreigners. They are Southern Cameroonians. They are not Cameroonians. So I am not surprised. The COVID-19 that we have in La Republique de Cameroon is this terrorist government and their military. Those are the people that are killing Cameroonian people, not COVID-19. To talk about the problem in Burundi, I just want to tell Burundian people that the international observers is not important. What is important is their choice. So they should go ahead and make their choice and put the right man that will manage their political and economic affairs. Furthermore, Mr. Luis, I just want to enlighten all the journalists and the people in the world that genocide is still going on in southern Cameroon. As we are speaking, they are still burning houses, they are still killing and harmless women and children. So I call for United States, I call for any goodwill union, I call for any goodwill government to step in southern Cameroon and organize a transparent referendum for southern Cameroonian people to make their choice. In the sake of humanity, in the sake of women and children, because since the beginning of 2016 of this crisis, we have not receiving anything in the hands of this terrorist government in Yaoundé. This man has declared war many times to an harmless southern Cameroonian people. So we cannot wait to this man. We are calling for United States. We are calling for German, British, European Union, a goodwill union to step in southern Cameroon and rescue women and children in the hands of hoodlum, in the hands of terrorist groups called government in La Republique de Cameroon. I will use this opportunity to extend my special greeting to the journalists, the technicians to this great media. Stay out of intimidation, stay out of bribing and corruption. Enlighten African people what to do and where to go. Thank you very much. Be blessed.
In the northwest region of Cameroon. Thanks for your opinion. We very much appreciate that, and we expect to get other opinions. We are still having a program today, and we're talking about the speech by President Paul Biya. Just note that this speech is coming at a time when the United Nations, as well as the Pope of that's Pope Francis, had called for Cameroon's President Paul Biya to declare a ceasefire in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. just as one of the measures, you call it, to focus fight against the coronavirus pandemic. But many were expecting that he could make a comment regarding that as well, but that comment was not equally made regarding calling for a ceasefire in the northwest and southwest regions. Equally, the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, thinks that all arms should be laid down and the fight should be focused against the common enemy, which is the coronavirus pandemic. Definitely, those are some of the things that President Paul Biya left out during his unusual May 19 speech delivered to Cameroonians yesterday. So we expect to hear from you what you think regarding that outing of President Paul Biya, as well as the voting which is taking place presently in Burundi. Those are the two aspects we're looking at this afternoon on the program Views on the Continent. It's of course live on your Pan-African television, Afrique Media. We have a call online. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good day. I wish to comment on the speech made by the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, that was yesterday. His speech mainly focused on the COVID-19 situation in Cameroon, and we being the first in sub-Saharan Africa with over 3,500 cases. That was the predominant focus of his discourse, which unfortunately beats the expectation of the population. People were expecting the head of state to talk not just about the COVID situation, but also as a president and as a father to address the looming disaster in the north and in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. But it's quite unfortunate that the head of state has adopted a very, very rigid position in not addressing this issue on national television. The people are expecting that he should say something about it, call for a ceasefire, demilitarize the northwest and southwest regions, and call for a broad-based, all-inclusive, mediated national dialogue. I mean, these are the basic expectations of the population. This problem has been existing in Cameroon even before the advent of the coronavirus. Yes, it is true that at the moment the coronavirus poses more threats in terms of the increase in the number. The state has the responsibility to provide access to the highest attainable standards of mental and physical health. Like I did mention before, I believe that the government is doing its best, but there is more that is yet to be done. The government should make these services available to the people, as well as the population should also adopt and adjust their lifestyle to suit the prevailing circumstances. We are living in a pandemic. This poses a threat to not just Cameroon but to every state. So people's lifestyle needs to be adjusted. So it's quite unfortunate that things are the way they are, but I'm saying that there is more we expect from the government. The head of state should address the issue of the Anglophone crisis going on in Cameroon. This will go a long way to pacify the minds and consciences of many, both home and abroad. As respect to the COVID situation, the government needs to do more in terms of providing advanced medical services. Research needs to be done at the level of Cameroon to improve on our local and national medical centers, personnel and facilities. This is just the minimum that we expect.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Pork. Joseph, you're calling us from the USA. You are a human rights defender and activist. Thanks very much for your intervention this afternoon. Very much, of course, appreciate. We expect to hear from you. Those of you Watching us live from Cameroon, let us know what you think. And if you're watching us equally from Burundi, where presidential elections or general elections are taking place this afternoon, elections or polls opened this morning at 6 a.m. and will run up to 4 p.m. this afternoon, where Burundians are heading to the polls to determine who takes over the command baton to run the country for the next 5 years after President Pierre Nkurunziza stepped down or refused in 2018 that he will not be running in for another term of office, although the constitution of that country, after he changed it, permits him to go in for another term of office. And it is said that after elections, he will be rewarded with a state position as well as a huge fortune to enjoy personal life or certainly stay off politics. But it's uncertain yet if he is going to stay off politics. It is said that anybody who will be voted, it's definitely going to be receiving advice from Pierre Nkurunziza, who is going to be holding the position or a state position as compensation. That's what we have as information from Burundi this day. Just to remind you once again that we're currently looking at Cameroon, where President Paul Biya made unusual outing yesterday to talk to Cameroonians regarding the coronavirus pandemic. There have been several measures put in place by the government. Prime Minister Dion Gute has been heading activities and informations regarding the management of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. And so far, Pobia said that all the measures put in place should be respected by Cameroonians, and wearing of masks is certainly obligatory. But definitely, we are looking at that, and we expect to hear from you what you think regarding that outing by President Biya. Let's stay online again this time to talk with you from Bamenda. Mr. John, calling us from Bamenda. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Hello.
You're live for the program. Let's say you're from Bamenda.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
You're live on the program. Let's hear you.
Yes, sir. I just want to give you the live information that is going on now. The way the Republic is doing in the northern zone now, in southern Cameroon, especially in Trouble Mountain, going towards Alabama, the way they are killing people, because the type of guns that they are shooting now is not easy. So I'm calling to all the Cameroonians to know what is going on now at Trouble. Going towards Alabama, there is serious battle there for more than 2 hours now. The way the military people are doing, we don't know whether they want to do outside the Cameroon, the way they're killing people. So that is the last story that is going on now. Thank you.
Thank you very much from Bamenda. And that's, of course, the present situation, just like you're telling us from your call. Serious gun battle in the city of Bamenda at the moment in the Northwest region. And this, of course, one of the difficulties which is in place presently as the country battles to contain the spread of the coronavirus. But yet, serious gun battle continues to go on in the two regions where the United Nations has called for a ceasefire, mounting pressure on President Biya to declare ceasefire in these two regions so that the fight or the focus should be on the coronavirus pandemic, which is now a threat to mankind. But definitely nothing has been said about that, and that's what many Cameroonians were expecting to hear. As President Biya addressed the nation yesterday, we are hoping to find out more from you, what you think regarding this issue, the gun battle presently in Bamenda, and equally, what did you think, or do you think the president or the head of state left out during his unusual address to Cameroonians yesterday, the 19th of May 2020. Today is celebrated as the National Day in Cameroon, but celebrations will not be holding because of the coronavirus pandemic. We shall be going online again to talk with you. Joining us this afternoon, welcome to the program. Good afternoon. Hello and welcome to the program. Good afternoon. Okay, we are definitely going to be getting back to you, those of you trying to get to us. So we shall be getting your opinions. Just very shortly, we have about 10 more minutes to get on the program. We invite you to equally leave your comments on Facebook if you can. We have time, we shall read them here on the program. Share with us what you think. And let's know what you think, your analysis after President Biya's unusual appearance yesterday. And this, of course, putting to rest rumor of his death, which was circulated on social media in the month of April, as several Cameroonians had declared, or certainly informations were circulated on social media that President Biya was dead. And this, of course, this outing comes to put to rest that particular circulation which circulated on social media. And equally during his speech called on Cameroonians to shun from fake news, to not believe everything that they hear on the social network, and equally calling on them to equally shun away from panic and not to panic as the country struggles to contain the coronavirus pandemic. It should be noted that Cameroon at the moment is topping the chart in Sub-Sahara with more than 3,500 cases of the coronavirus pandemic so far. 140 persons are reported dead from the coronavirus pandemic, and more than 1,000 others have been healed from the coronavirus pandemic. We shall be going online to talk with you. Joining us this afternoon. Hello, welcome to the program. We hope to talk with you, joining us this afternoon on the program. Let's have what you say, and just remind you once again that we're definitely talking about Burundi this afternoon. Voters are heading to the polls to decide who takes over command baton from President Pierre Nkurunziza, who has been in power since 2005 rather, and definitely announced in 2018 he will not be seeking another term of office. And we hope to look at a peaceful election which is taking place this day. Hoping to see a peaceful election, but it should be noted that elections are taking place in Burundi today without the presence of international observers. Many believe that it's time for Africans to take the challenge by conducting free and fair elections, and equally putting in place mechanisms and measures to guarantee free and fair elections without the meddling or without the presence of international observers, just like it's been the case in several or for a long time now. Africans are dependent solely on international observers to guarantee free and fair elections, but definitely this time around, Burundi will be holding elections without the presence or without international observers. It is said that for observers to come into the country, they will have to go in for 14 days quarantine, which will not meet up with the date of the coronavirus, or of course as measures of coronavirus pandemic. We have a few seconds to go. We just want to remind you, watching views on the continent, it's on your Pan-African television, Afrique Media. And if no call this afternoon, we just hope to remind you that you can join us again tomorrow, same time, for views on the continent. Our topic today, we're looking at the unusual outing of President Paul Biya, who spoke to Cameroonians yesterday, being the first time he's talking to them 2 months after Cameroon recorded his first COVID-19 case, which is now a global pandemic. And equally, we're looking at the situation in Burundi, where voters head to the poll today to decide who takes over the command baton after President Pierre Nkurunziza will not be going in for elections. And that's all we had for you. We want to remind you that join us again tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. And we shall be talking more on issues and events which are happening around the continent. Africa, it's focused on our interests. More will be coming tomorrow, 3 p.m. Endeavor to join us if you can. Until then, it's been a wonderful time. Thanks for your calls. Thanks for your participation. Unfortunately, we could not get in contact with Mr. Fabrice Lena from Yaoundé, but we hope next time we shall have to talk more. Until then, it's a bye-bye. Stay tuned for more programs on Afrique Media.